Welcome to the Collector Cave, and today we have a review of Bring Art's Final Fantasy VII Barret Wallace figure that just released recently. Mine showed up over the weekend, so I'm super excited. I've got a couple of his Bring Arts already. I've got Cloud and Tifa, and the rest of them I have in pre-order. But Barret, this is a 1/12 scale, and he looks massive. And these aren't based off of the new remakes, Rebirth, Remake. This is kind of based off of the original look, although it's not completely pixelated. It's definitely closer to the original release of Final Fantasy VII from '97. But looking at the packaging is real sharp. I like how the Bring Arts do the packaging, very minimalistic, white background, the gray stripe here, which is high gloss. Final Fantasy VII with a meteor symbol, Bring Arts action figure, and this is action figure number 4 in the line. Cloud was 1, Tifa was 2. I'm not sure if Aerith or Sephiroth is 3, but I think Sephiroth's coming out in October, and I think Aerith might be the next. So maybe Aerith is 3. I have her in pre-order as well. And then we have some warnings for ages 15 years and up, and there's a choking hazard for 3 and under. And then here is the hologram, showing proof that this isn't a bootleg, this is legit. I ordered off the Square Enix North website here in North America, and that's where I got it from. And then here's the side, and in the back, we got some cool pictures of Barret. He looks like he can strike quite a few poses. The one up here I like a lot, which is kind of the look I have for the Play Arts Kai version I have from Remake. So he looks really good. He comes with an extra hand. Looks very detailed. I don't think he comes with glasses, but I think that's more of a remake thing, if I remember correctly. Anyway, some, legalese on this in different languages. Collect all figures in the series. And then some legalese about Square Enix, the types of plastic which is used, and some metal in the stand. And then there's the UPC. And then here's the bottom of the box. So let's get this guy unpackaged and see what he looks like. All right, and here's Barret Wallace out of packaging with everything he comes with. He also comes with some directions. I mean, very simplistic. It shows you how to change the hands out in the left hand. He has an extra hand, and then how the flight rod works, the stand, the base, which I don't know is even going to work with this guy because he's so big and the clamps are too small. But we'll see. And then in the back is some foreign language that I can't read, directions. But yeah, here's Barret. Initial thoughts right on packaging. His hip joints are very loose, which is not a good sign for a figure this size. Now, with that said, he's standing no problem without a stand right now. The other joints feel good, nice and smooth, buttery. It's just the hip joints. So we'll see over time what happens. But yeah, right on packaging, they're very loose. We'll go over articulation in a minute. But here's the stand, and as you can see, they give you 2 clamps. There's slightly different variations in the size, but there's no way those clamps are going around his waist. Maybe his forearm or maybe his thigh. But I have a feeling I won't be using the stand with this guy. His feet are nice and big, so as long as his hips don't give out too much, I think he'll stand no problem without falling. If you walk around the room, things shake, whatever, I don't think he'll go anywhere. We'll find out over time. But then, yeah, this stand's kind of a joke for a figure this big. But we'll try and see if it works in a minute. And then here's the extra hand. This hand looks so huge. His proportions are obviously very comical, right? He's got kind of a smaller head, huge hands, huge arms. But that's kind of what's cool about him, is his proportions they're out of proportion. But there's the hand. Detail looks pretty good for a hand. Remember, this isn't supposed to be highly detailed, because it's more of based off of the first game. So it's just not like high detail. You can see fingernails there a little bit, but yeah, I mean, it's a hand. And then here's Barret. If I come in a little closer with him, his head looks really good, as you can see there. And the dog tags are metal, which is nice. I thought they were molded on. And in the picture, and the blogger shots for this figure, it looked almost like they were molded plastic. But they're definitely metal. At least this chain is metal. I think the tags themselves are probably plastic. But as you can see, there's a couple tags there. I don't know if there's any writing on them or not. I don't believe so. No. But if we flip them over, let's see if we flip them over. Any writing? Nope, no writing. but you can actually see some chest hair there. Look at that. I just noticed that. Pretty cool. And this outer coat's kind of a rubbery plastic. But yeah, he looks really good. His earring is there, as you can see. Painted really well. Looks good. Intensity in the eyes are perfect. Paint apps are okay. I got a little spot right here on the side of the mustache or beard. It's not painted good, but other than that, he looks pretty good. Got his haircut, his flat top, the fade on the side looks awesome. Paint apps on the jacket look good. You can see where it's torn here. You know, some nice dry brushing in certain areas. There's the tattoo on the arm. I will say I like the tattoo on the remake much better than this one. It even looks different. But, you know, for old time's sake, that's cool. I can't tell if it's printed on or if it's actually... It's probably printed on, but I can't tell. It feels like it's actually painted on. But I'm sure it's printed somehow. Still looks good, though. And then you can see the buttons on the jacket. This band here, this metal band is loose and floating. So it's kind of hard to get it with his jacket in the way to get him other than not looking kind of goofy. I have to really mess with this. And then this belt is also free floating. It's rubbery plastic. See some shotgun casings there or bullets, whatever it is. And then his gun, it does rotate. As you can see, it rotates pretty good. It's not going to just spin on its own. You got to actually force it. Kind of a bronze color. In the camera, it looks more gunmetal, but in real life, it's more of a bronze look. His muscles look good, defined. You can see where they've kind of done some dry brushing there to show a difference there. Pants look good. Back out a little bit here. Maybe go in here. We'll go to 2. And then his boots are massive. I call them Popeye boots, like Tifa. He does have some toes articulation there. Yeah, so speaking of articulation, let's go ahead and do that now. The head and neck are both on a ball joint, so you get some pretty good range. He can look down really good. He can look up really good. You know, he can tilt his head. So he's got really good expression with movement in his head and neck, which I like. The arms do come out 90, as you can see there. And they do rotate and they drop down a little bit like most Bring Arts. And then there's a bicep swivel, which is really nice and tight. And then the elbow is a single joint, but gets a little over 90, which isn't bad for a big muscled figure. These wristbands are, I think, free floating. I don't know. They won't come off because the way they have them clamped down here with the muscle. So they won't come off when you pull the hand off. And the hand's on a super long, like ball hinge joint. So you get good motion there. And then the chest, there's no upper torso, just a ball joint in the abdomen area. As I said, this belt here, it's like a hard plastic. It looks metal, but it's a hard plastic. It's just free floating. And then the hips, this is where things are not good. They're very loose. So, you know, I'm to the point now where Bring Arts, Play Arts, they really got to up their game in the QC department, because I expect more from overseas figures than what I'm getting here recently. I still love them all, but I think the quality could be better. And for $129, I should not have a big figure like this with loose hips right out of the packaging. So Bring Arts, Square Enix, if you happen to see this, if you happen to see my review, know that you need to do a better job with these. They don't drop down or anything. There is, sorry about that, there is a thigh swivel on both thighs, a thigh cut. And then they do go up about 90, which is nice. Again, for a big figure, there's pretty good articulation with this guy. And then his knees are a single joint. They give you about 90, maybe a little over. And then the hips are ball hinge. And they are ratcheted. Or not the hips, the ankles, I'm sorry. And they are ratcheted, as you can hear. Big old gap there, though, as you can see. And then toe articulation there. So that's a pretty big, and there's a boot. Nice boot there, sole, treads. So you can get some pretty good, I think, poses with this guy. And that's what we're going to do next. We're going to strike a couple poses. I'll try and do what we got in the back of the box. All right, so here's this pose, which is which is this guy on the right, top right. I mean, that's a pretty easy pose to strike. But yeah, he looks pretty good. Let's turn on this table and see if he falls down. Curious to know what happens here. Well, so far so good. Again, those hips are super loose, which worries me. But man, he's got, his boots are so big that it might not matter. But having him spin around, you can kind of see all the details. You can see all the paint apps. That jacket looks really good. Some of the darker paint on the muscles and the lighter paint really gives it good muscle definition. Yeah, it looks really good. Okay, let's try another pose. I wanted to show you guys first how long this ball hinge joint is. Because the hands are so big, it's got to be this long, but it's really long. They kind of worry it might break over time, but it does bend in. You can rotate it around to bend it however you want. But for this pose, oh, the ring does come off. That's kind of cool. The bracer does come off. Neat. All right, let's try and do the next pose. All right, so here's the pose that we see a lot in the game and pictures of him kind of studying the gun with his hand. The hand looks massive. Again, that's on purpose, but boy, it sure is big. But I had a hard time getting that hand on, but I finally got it on. Had to apply a little pressure. And this bracer actually moves, which is nice because you can move it forward to kind of cover this gap you see between the hand and the wrist. So that's pretty cool. But this is probably the pose I'll have him in, I think. Let me turn this on and see how he does. He doesn't fall or not. Again, those hips are really loose. Yeah, but as you can see, I mean, he's solid. I mean, because his feet are so wide and big, he's got a good base to stand on. So I don't think you're going to need the flight rod and the base that he comes with. I will try and show what it looks like connected though, if you can even use it. But yeah, pretty cool. This is probably my favorite pose of Barret. Although I don't know, it covers his face up a little bit. Maybe I'll do a different pose for my shelf with this one. But really cool. Great detail on this figure. You can see those joints in the back behind the knees, but I mean, up front they do a good job of protecting them or covering them because of those baggy pants. The military pants he's wearing. Yeah, really cool looking figure. And again, this is 1/12 scale. I haven't measured him yet, but I will here in a second. All right, here's just a quick pose of him kneeling down. Just wanted to show you guys that it is possible to have him kneel like he's shooting. It doesn't look the best, I don't think. Let me turn on my thing here. But, if you want him down like he's kneeling down, shooting off his gun, that you can do that. Again, his proportions are so goofy, right? Because of, again, it's based off of kind of the original game in '97. But still, I mean, he's holding his place. He's not falling over on the turntable, so that's good. Yeah, looks really good. All right, and here's the team assembled that's so far been released. Cloud Strife, Tifa Lockhart, and Barret Wallace. And I measured Barret. He comes in at 6.5 inches, right to his flat top. Cloud is 6 inches to the top of his chocobo hair, and Tifa's like 5.25. So they're considered 1/12 scale, but I think they run a little small. Like most import figures, like SHF, always tend to run a little small 1/12 scale. But man, together they're pretty good. And I got all the other ones on pre-order. I think Aerith comes next. I'm excited for that. And then Sephiroth later in October. And I think the rest of the team, like Sid, Red, and everyone else comes like next year. Spring of next year. So almost a year away for some of these, or at least 8 months or so. But man, this looks really cool. Let's go ahead and compare this Bring Arts Barret next to the Play Arts Kai Barret. All right, as you can see, the Play Arts Kai Barret is huge. He's like 10.5 inches tall. It's like 1/8 scale, I believe, something like that. But if I zoom back a little bit, there you go. There's the two Barrets side by side. And you can see the flesh tone's different in the Bring Arts, the small one. It's definitely more of a cartoonish color across the board. Everything looks more cartoonish, and then this one looks more realistic. The Play Arts Kai, which I absolutely love this Play Arts Kai figure. They did a fantastic job, and there's a tattoo on the Play Arts Kai. I just like that look better. Everything's more detailed. The Play Arts Kai. It's the remake, so everything's more detailed. But you know, having both these together, this is the first time I've got two Barretts. Pretty cool. I like it. I might display my Play Arts Kai next to my Bring Arts in a side-by-side detolf. I need to rearrange my detolf. I got so much stuff going on. I need to swap stuff out. I don't have enough room anymore. It's part of the problem of collecting, right? Eventually you're out of room, no matter how big your room is or whatever. There's always more. So trying to scale back a little bit, but it is tough, especially when cool stuff like this is being released. Yeah, awesome. All right, let's close this thing up. All right, and I have the stand attached, and as you can see, it wouldn't even go around his leg, his thigh. It's just too small. So I've got his forearm clamped right here. So if you want to use the stand, it'll work. It'll limit, you know, your mobility with posing this arm, or either arm you choose. But if you want to use the stand, it works. But I always find it hilarious when they give you these stands for some of these figures that are massive, and the clamps they give you don't work. Doesn't go around the waist. It doesn't go around the waist as normal. But regardless, is this guy worth it? So he's $129. Sad news is I just checked on BBTS, Big Bad Toy Store, and Square Enix North, and he is unavailable. Sold out. That's not to say that Square Enix won't get more in, because I've seen a couple times where some have been sold out and they get more shipment in, or more pre-orders in, I should say. So he might be back again, but boy, if you haven't got him yet on pre-order, I got a feeling you might not get him unless they reissue him again, or you pay, you know, whatever it's going to be on secondary market, which might be high. I haven't checked that, but he's $129, and for the size he is, I think that's worth it for the plastic. You know, some of these smaller ones like Tifa, I feel like maybe she should have been cheaper. It's less plastic. I'm sorry. I know it still takes engineering and detail, but less plastic should be less money in my mind. But regardless, they're all about the same price. I don't think any of them are more. My Aerith I have is, because it's the digital one, the digital plus edition, because the original one was sold out. She's $159. Boy. Again, they're imports. So living here in North America, you're gonna pay more money because they're imports. They're coming halfway around the world. So it's not always easy being a collector of this kind of stuff. But man, I think it's fantastic. I love seeing the three of them together. I can't wait to have the whole team. And you know, the thing about this being this size is 1/12 scale. You have no problem putting this whole team inside one detolf. You know, one section of a detolf. It'll look great. Yeah, that is really cool. Super excited. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you prefer the Play Arts Kai or Bring Arts? You know, the different sizes, and then the Play Arts Kai is based off of the remake, the remade games that have just come out, whereas Bring Arts is based off of the '97 version for the most part. Let me know what you guys think. What are your thoughts on Barret, the rest of these figures? Are you gonna get the rest of them? I think Vincent Valentine looks awesome. I can't wait for him. And of course, Sid. We haven't got a Sid yet in a while. Not since I've been collecting, at least. So I'm looking forward to getting those guys in my hands early next year. So yeah, give me a like, comment. I love to, you know, get feedback on this kind of stuff, what you guys think of these figures, your thoughts on it. And if you want to subscribe, I would appreciate that. Love it. But until next time, this has been Play Arts Kai, Final Fantasy VII, Barret Wallace.